Okay then, let's do episode 2 of how to improve your case analysis writing. There is a concept that I use. It's in the course writing materials. And again, I think for many of you, the best thing to do is to not assume that you can skip through all of that. Even if you're a great writer, go back and look at everything that's in the student resources as it relates. But one of the issues that we have a lot, and this can be an issue for experienced case analysis writers, is breadth and depth. So remember that the purpose of the case study or the case study analysis is to apply concepts to a specific case. So at this point, for example, with the Ron Ventura case, you've covered more concepts than you think. You are 25, 30 concepts into organizational behavior. So if you choose one, and that's the only one that you use to explain the problem, remembering that the purpose of a case analysis is to apply concepts to a problem, then it's unlikely that that is enough what I would call breadth. Breadth is the degree to which you analyze the problem, what feels like almost horizontally, right? So looking for various explanations, various concepts that might explain why the problem exists. Now, in a typical case study, you will find that most of us will not say we want this many concepts because we leave it up to you. But since we're friends, and we've been together for a while, I will tell you that most case analyses are going to have between 3 and 5. Early in the semester, probably closer to the 3 side. Later in the semester, when you've covered many more concepts, probably in the 5 side. You don't want to stretch and just make stuff up, right? You don't want to include concepts that really don't apply. But you do want to include a solid number of concepts to explain why might this problem be happening. Then there's depth. Depth is how well did you explain it and how well did you make an argument for your hypothesis. So if I were to say, that I believe that that Ron Ventura may have a conflict in Vabes with the organization, then the question of depth is how well do I make the argument for that? Making an argument in this case means connecting it to the case. So what examples do I show from the case that could be related to my hypothesis? And then what do I know about the concept that could explain how it impacts the problem? In other words, your analysis needs to connect the concept to the case to support your idea. And then finally, the recommendations, I think I said this earlier, are very action-oriented. They are only for the protagonist. So in this case, the hospital, the CEO, Ventura himself, those are not the people that put the action in play. It is the protagonist who puts the action in play. So if you're thinking, well, Ron Ventura needs to do X, Y, Z, then the way to do that is to think, okay, so what's my recommendation to Prescott that he would have Ventura do so that X, Y, and Z happen? All right, I'm looking real quickly here. The last thing I want to throw out there relates to graduate level writing. Now, I realize that not all of us are great writers. I am not a great writer. I have people who I use to read my writing and edit and do all of these things, but I write a lot. Case writing is different, and graduate level expectations are different than perhaps undergrad. On the one hand, we don't go nuts over things like APA format and all of that. Using APA format is not a bad idea, but our biggest concern is if you use a source, cite it. And if it's clear that the citation connects, then that's great. Notice in the student resources, there is a document called DeVos Writing Standards or something like that give you some examples of the ways that you might do that. What we do expect at the graduate level is that we get a paper that is as professional as possible, which means you've written the paper, you've taken the time to proofread the paper, And it might even be that you've given it to another source, especially if you doubt your writing, that you've given it to a friend or another person and had them proofread it as well. It's important because when you come out of your MBA and you are, doing things that are related to your education, what you've learned, you need to be able to present it in a way that it's compelling. So we do have a writing lab. We have writing tutors. So all of that stuff, if you would like some help in it, we can certainly hook you up. But at the very least, take the time to go through it. Now, for some of you, you may be looking at your grade and be beating yourself up. Please don't do that. However, take the time to do the rewrite. Take the time to listen to this, to read what I wrote, to read the case writing materials so that you're a lot more confident going into the next case to adjust to what this writing is all about. By the way, in the process of writing your case, and that final case, for example, if you want to send me a copy of your problem statement, or maybe the first hypothesis and analysis section, I'll give you feedback on it. I won't give you feedback on an entire draft because then you start chasing my feedback, but I will let you know if you're on the right track. If you ask me too many times, don't worry, I'll let you know. But please, work with each other, work with me, because you want to get this down because case analysis writing is going to be a large part of the program for you going forward. You guys did great. Thanks for taking the time to listen to the additional feedback, and I wish you nothing but success. Don't forget, there is a deadline for the revision, so make sure that you follow that, and then we'll probably get a few more points on the table and move on from there. Thanks so much. Bye.